Good evening. Welcome. How you doing? This is Rodney Grimes, People to People, Power to Power, Positive Thinking People. I am so happy and blessed today to be able to have these two young ladies who are very good friends of mine. We have Miss Gwen Pratt Miller and Miss Vickie Sellers. This is crazy because the energy right now is like on the level of seriousness. And so we're going to be talking about something very personal for them. They both are ladies from Old Town Alexandria. Both of them have experienced some things in life that are very much similar. And it's just something that we want to share because we know that there's quite a few other people out there that's had this opportunity to experience these tragedies. So I say that to say, you know, if you are going through something, please do not feel that you're by yourself. So I think Vickie's just a little more nervous than Gwen. So I'm gonna be messing with Vickie a lot. Cause let me tell y'all something. This is so amazing. I'm doing the flyers today, and I spent 2 to 3 hours trying to find a picture of her not smiling. This young lady had a smile on her face of every picture, and she got a lot of pictures. And I just thought that was so amazing that, you know, you carry that spirit with you all the time.
Thank you.
Do y'all have a problem with your age, telling people how old you are? How old are you then?
I'm 55.
Okay. I didn't know you was that old. Actually, I thought you were younger than that. And Gwen?
I'm 57.
And I thought you was younger than that, too. Okay. Dang, y'all older than me. No, but God is good. So, born and raised in Virginia, Alexandria?
Yes.
And you as well?
Yes.
Okay, and so was I. Well, yeah, me too. Yeah, that's so. Today's topic is going to be on the fact that was it murder? Now, I know y'all might not understand that, but both of y'all lost children to gun violence. So, your son was murdered first, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so can you give us a little bit of information on, you know, what happened and, you know, what took place?
Taft was killed on February 18, 2013, which was on President's Day. He was killed by police, members of the Alexandria Police Department.
How old was he?
30. He was 30 years old.
30 years old. That's still pretty much a baby.
Yeah.
And, so I'm only going to ask you questions that I think that I've heard because I don't know for sure. So please excuse me if I'm not really correct. But did you actually experience the thing while it was taking place?
Yes, I was out there when it happened.
You actually had to see your son be murdered.
Yes.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine what that's like.
Yeah. My sister called me and was like screaming, yelling on the phone, telling me that she thinks Taft was gonna hurt himself or something, and I was like, no, he all right. He's not gonna do anything. He's on his way down here to watch Malachi, and because I was starting a job that same exact day, and Malachi had went to the movies with one of his friends, so he was going to wait in the parking lot for Malachi to come home from the movies. But I ended up leaving out of the house, and something just told me to go to my mother's house. When I went to my mom's house, it was just a bunch of police with guns drawn and everything.
So you rolled up on that while, now when you came up, had they already had fired on your son, or did this happen while you were there?
Oh no, when I rolled up, I don't even remember stopping the car. I just rode up and jumped out the car, and Officer Benny was like right there by my car. And I ran up and he grabbed me, and I told him, I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And another police officer ran down to me, and he was asking me questions. What was his name, and you know, what relation was to me? And I told him it was my son, and I was just yelling, look, he's a good kid, just let me talk to him. And it was like in seconds, They just started shooting.
While you, the mother, are right there.
Yeah.
You weren't given the opportunity to go talk to your son, to say, hey son, I'm here. Nothing.
Nothing. Because it was a police officer. By my understanding, she was a female police officer that did not have like a clear shot at all. That was standing over on the side by the trash dumpster. And she said that during the investigation, and this is how I found out this piece of it, during the investigation, she stated that she thought he fired a weapon. And he never fired a weapon. But after they shot him though, they treated me like I was the shooter, or like I did something wrong, because they forced me in the police car. I mean, I was like yelling and screaming and crying, and I was backing up, and the police officers, they was just like, it was a couple of them, like pushing me like toward the police car, so I kept turning my back, trying to like twist away from them, and they kind of like just cornered me back around and put me in a police car, and they took me to the police station, and they made me sit in a police room for, it seemed like so many hours. Like
So
hours.
I mean, during the time that your son is now been shot, nobody came and said, "Are you okay?" Nobody came over and say, "Ma'am, just hold on. We're going to let you go to your son." Nothing.
Nothing. When I was asking them, please, let me back up a little bit. Once the shot started, Officer Benny shielded me. He threw me on the ground and he shielded me, and it was just bah, 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 just like a bunch of gunshots. And when the gunshots stopped, all I could do was just look up at Officer Benny, and I was like, you know, is he okay? Is he okay? And I got up and he was just laying. I could kind of see him because he was on his knees. He was on his knees when they shot him. He was on his knees, and I saw him kind of like slumped over, because when I was trying to talk, because I was yelling and I was just saying, please just let me talk to him. So me and my son, we kind of locked eyes at each other. And you know, the police, he did come and ask me, you know, who was he, whatever, and I was like, just please let me talk to him, he's a good kid, he's not going to hurt nobody, just let me talk to him. But after they shot him, I got up, and Officer Benny kind of walked me over to the side, and that's when, you know, the police was like, came to me, and they were like treating me like so freaking bad. It was like, I couldn't believe it. And I don't know, they just treated me like crap, you know?
No sympathy, no remorse for what just took place.
They wouldn't let me go over. I just kept saying, just let me go over to see him. Just please let me go over here to see him. They wouldn't let me go see him or anything. And he laid out there, like it wasn't like cold, but it was cold that day. And they let him just like lay out there on the ground. He stayed out there for a very, very long time. And
your son also was a Marine.
He was an ex-Marine, yes.
Once a Marine, always one.
Yeah.
I say, I put it on the fly, simplified, it means always faithful. Yeah. And myself, I'm always faithful to being the United States Marine. And any one of them, they're like brothers. We're brothers. It's a strong bond with every Marine I know. I really want to say that I find you to be a very, very strong woman, because I don't know if I should say this or not, but it had been some people in a lot of trouble after, you know, I had experienced what you did. So, but I commend you and give you much respect. Miss Gwen,
Yes.
your story is similar but not similar.
Right.
So, if you may, how old was your son when he was
He was
killed?
10 days into 22. He had just turned 22 10 days prior. So he was 22.
22 years old. Which I find this in common with both of you. both of your sons were killed by individuals who had on a uniform that represents the law.
Supposed to protect and serve.
Yeah. Your situation with your son, the guy was actually having dialogue with him prior to the incident.
Well, yeah, they got into some kind of altercation. They were arguing amongst each other. And witnesses heard my son say, heard Julian say, man, go ahead. I don't even know you. Go ahead. I don't know you. What you asking me that for? Whatever. And then they heard the guy say, I'll be back. You can best believe I'll be back. So he left, went home, got his badge, his gun, and his handcuffs, came back, searched each yard until he found him, and shot him. Point blank
You
range.
got to be kidding me.
Yeah, we were at my sister's.
First of all, I want to say premeditated.
Well, they initially charged him with murder. They charged him with first degree murder. But by the time it got to the courts, it was dropped down to manslaughter.
Oh my God. So, regardless of whatever the situation was, now we have common sense, and all the people who are out there, we use common sense on everything. And it's real talk, so we keeping it real. If a person threatens you, leaves, go get a weapon, comes back without the police, without other people to support them in the situation, looks for someone, and then shoots them, and they die, and you mean to tell me that they didn't charge him with first degree murder? That is crazy.
He got convicted of manslaughter. He got convicted of voluntary manslaughter, which meant that he meant to kill him, but that's what they charged him.
So, I'm not a lawyer, not a doctor, I'm not a preacher, not a teacher. I'm just a motivational speaker. I talk from facts, I talk from reality, I talk things that is common sense. Anytime the individual know that they're going back to do bodily harm, that's intentional.
Right.
So, for this guy, and from my understanding, he was a sheriff.
Yes.
Was he a sheriff in Alexandria?
Arlington.
Come on. Out of his jurisdiction.
Yes.
So, the other thing that we need to pay attention to, and we listen to both of these ladies' story. Both of these ladies are black women, black mothers. Their sons are black. I don't call them kings because it's levels that we go to, but they were black princes. And neither one of y'all found a peace within yourselves from the losing your sons the way that they did. They treated them.
You know, I think what bothered me most about the whole thing is that they never found this police officer negligent in what she did. Because she got away with thinking that
Right.
he fired a weapon.
Right.
They justified it. Because he did have a gun, but he never pointed that gun at nobody. He always had it. He would put it down, he would pick it up. He would put it down, he would pick it up. And he had it like down to the ground, like beside him, right? So if with all the police officers that was in front of him and in back of him, if he would have fired his weapon, the officer that was way on the other side of the parking lot, on the side of the wood that's around the dumpster, if he would have fired his weapon, wouldn't she have thought that they would start shooting him?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So then, even in the report, the investigation that they did, those 3 or 4 months or whatever, they never took a statement from me. The statement that I did give to them, they did not put in that report or anything. They did not put it in a report or anything.
Now, the fact that you were actually there when you saw this take place.
They never put my statement in the report. Cook, I don't know what he was. Was was it captain or who was cook?
I'm not quite sure.
Whatever cook was,
Chief of police.
the chief of police, Cook, and Cleveland, aka Pac-Man. It bothered me so bad because they treated me like shit. They treated me like crap. And all the other police officers, and see, this is the bad thing about it. The police officers can see another one of their police members or officers do something like bad and won't even they won't come to the plate to say, look, she was wrong. And I think it would have went totally different had they said that she was wrong, but they knew she was wrong because when my family was at the courthouse in the room listening to Siegel, I think he was the general district attorney or somebody, Siegel, he said right then, 3-4 months later, that this same officer kept saying that she thought my son fired a weapon. She thought. But see, when she fired, her bullet hit the cement, which threw up the cement dust.
Right.
So when that happened, everybody just started shooting 36, 37 times. But only one officer hit him 5 times. And that was with a rifle. And this was the police that was right in front of him, almost, in front of him. And again, if he would have fired a weapon, come on, lady, do you think that all the other police officers that was in front of him would have just stood there and let come on? Right. So then I did have an attorney, but the city manager, whoever he was, said something to the attorney that I had, and he told me that he couldn't mess with it. And this is what the attorney told me. So after that, if you're in a car accident, if you slip and fall, if you do anything like that, here come all these attorneys wanting to take your case.
Yeah.
But you have these attorneys that's afraid that they're not going to get a case in the court, or no one is going to deal with them anymore, and they're not going to have work or whatever, and no one took that case for me. And she was negligent in what she did, and they justified it.
One of the things that I've experienced and seen it at firsthand, even in the courtrooms, there is a code between the lawyers, the prosecutors, the judges, and the police.
All of that.
And so what we find ourselves in situations where we all are the victim, without really the right to have positive and strong representation for us to say, he's wrong, he wears a badge. He's wrong, he's a lawyer, he's lying. He's wrong, he's a judge, he is prejudiced.
Right. I mean, the bottom line is, in my case, I don't think that he would have went to prison had he been a white officer. He was black, so that's why they ended up giving him 6 years, which was like a slap in the face to me, because if I tell you that I'll be back and I leave and go home and get a gun and handcuffs and all of that and come back and murder you, I'm going to the penitentiary.
Right.
So, the fact that they did convict him, I guess was supposed to make me feel some type of justice, but 6 years for something that didn't need to take place.
Right.
He left.
Yeah.
Whatever altercation they had was over.
Right.
So he should have never came back.
Because he could have easily, even if it was, say if he said, I'm just saying because I wasn't there, say your son said, I'm going to kill you.
Right.
Okay, so, and if somebody told me that and I don't leave and come back, that means in my mind that now I have intentions to try to do bodily harm to you.
Absolutely.
Because if somebody threatens you and you think they're serious,
Yes.
then you don't go back.
That's right.
Because basically all he had to do was just call the authorities and say, look,
Exactly.
I'm an officer. I had an altercation with a young man.
Right.
He threatened me.
Right.
I want to prosecute him. I want some backup to come, and they could arrest him.
Well, he claimed that it was self-defense. He claimed that Julian had pulled a knife on him, But when they did the ballistics and all of that stuff, and when Julian was found, the knife was folded and clipped in
Okay.
his pocket. No
Okay.
fingerprints or anything like that.
Okay. Wait a minute. That's irrelevant. I'm not a lawyer,
Right.
but that's irrelevant. The fact is that, okay, he had a knife. I'm just saying, we're in a situation. I pull a knife on you and I tell you, I'm going to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And you leave, but I didn't kill you.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then you come back.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay? I just don't fathom how they came across to say that was self-defense. You came back with intent to do bodily harm.
Well,
Even
they
though.
didn't. Well, the system itself didn't say that it was self-defense. That's why they convicted him. But I mean, it just, the whole situation was wrong. It was uncalled for. It was no reason for it. My son shouldn't be dead today. This man should be still in prison for killing my son today. But he's out walking around like us now.
Exactly. And that's just like Tab though. If Tab was a white kid
Exactly.
Oh, come on.
right there,
Exactly.
they'd have got a negotiator.
Yes.
Yes.
They'd have got
Yeah.
a negotiator.
They threw it. They'd
They'd
threw a
have
net.
they'd have beanbagged him. It was a whole lot of different things they would have did to him. If he was a little white kid.
Exactly.
Because even after that, you seen on TV, even after that, you seen the white guys that was charging at the police with knives and all of that, and they beanbag them or do something, you know what I mean, to prevent killing them.
Yeah.
So a lot of things could have been done, but I mean, it's like when I talk to people, they be like, girl, I don't know how you do it, and I don't know how woo-woo, but, it's only through God's grace and mercy that I still sit here with a clear mind now.
Yes.
Because see, when it first happened, I wanted to die. I wanted to commit suicide because I didn't want to keep hearing them gunshots. For 2 years, I heard gunshots. For 2 years, I just pictured that whole scene for 2 years. Just like now, riding down the street sometimes, when I see a police car, I'd be like, damn, I wonder if that's her. You know what I mean? All the time, it was a point where I didn't even want Malachi to speak to the police, but I knew that Vickie, you can't do that to him because of the way that you feel about the police.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to allow him to go to police camp. I had to allow him, like one day the police spoke to him, and I was like, don't speak to him. But I had to turn around and take Malachi back, and I had to apologize to the police, for saying that to my son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Come on.
Because all police ain't bad police.
That's right.
You feel me?
Yes.
But so that's why I had to go with it. You know what I mean? I just thank God that I didn't go back to using drugs and all of that. I thank God for my friends. I thank God for Gwen. You know what I mean? Just everybody that's just been with me during this journey, because I have bad days sometimes. I recall one time where people was coming knocking on my door, and I'm telling my son, don't open the door, just let the dog bark. That was a very, very dark moment for me, and I don't ever want to go back into that dark place because I was heading for destruction. I couldn't even finish fighting my son's case because I was so mentally messed up. You know what I mean? And then, I didn't have the family support that I should have had then. You know what I'm saying? It was so bad. So I didn't even have the energy. I didn't have the mindset. I didn't have none of that to stand on to really go after them for what happened, because she was wrong.
I mean, that whole situation was wrong.
I mean, come on, so that means, so what if she think again
Right.
that somebody fired a weapon? Because you can easily be in a crowd of people and you hear a car backfire, and you're going to draw your weapon and fire your weapon because you thought that you heard somebody shot their weapon. Come on.
Well. Also, let me take this time. This is Right and Grimes Real Talk Live. My guest today is Miss Vickie Sellers and Miss Gwen Pratt Miller. They both are mothers who lost their children, and I say children, a child, to gun violence. Both of the individuals, on one case, it was more than one, and with Gwen, it was a guy who took it upon himself to leave the scene and come back. But I want to make a point. A lot of it's not. We know that all police are not bad. We know that because there's some good police, there's some good people, and there's bad people and everything, right?
Well,
black or white.
the way I feel about that, Rodney, you know, like for me, it's not about the white police killing black. It's about police period.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and the thing
Yeah.
about it is, you know, we like to say all police are not bad, but if you were one of those cops that was with the guy,
Exactly.
the one that killed Vickie's son, if y'all didn't stand up
Stand
for
up.
the one that was wrong,
Right.
then y'all
Well, this
bad, y'all
bad,
just
this is
negligent
bad, right.
as
Yeah.
you know, as they are. So
Yeah,
we
you're
can't
right, Gwen.
say
You're
that
right.
they, you know, if the good cops need to stand up.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Because
it.
the bottom line to it is, that's just like with George Floyd, they stood there and watched
Watch
it.
that. When
Yeah.
somebody, one of them cops should have said, "Yo, guy, get off his neck. We got it."
Exactly.
Or pull them off of it.
Exactly. And then, you know, when it's time to go to court, everybody's story don't need to be the same.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
the world saw him kill George Floyd. You know,
Exactly.
and then like in my son's case, they knew he was wrong. I mean, because they charged him with first degree murder.
Was it witnesses at this?
It was witnesses that came to court and testified. It was witnesses that heard the altercation. It was witnesses that saw Julian leave and saw him leave. So there's no reason why he shouldn't have been convicted of at least second degree murder.
Right.
At least.
So my point I wanted to make was when I say that there are some good officers, I want them to start to identify themselves, because we're in a situation where the police inside of the uniforms are responding like gang members.
But that's what it is. That's
To a
what
point
they
where
are. They in a gang.
they're responding to a point where what they do is, okay, you killed them, but we got to cover for you.
That's what it is.
You
because
gonna lock them up, we gonna cover for you.
is
Yeah.
if the other police go against them, it's like being in a gang.
Yeah.
If you go against the code, they not gonna protect you anymore.
You ain't
So-
gonna get no more overtime.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You ain't gonna get no more
Exactly.
overtime, or we ain't gonna mess with you. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? All of that. So that's you know, the police officers that are, like you said, the good police officers need to stand up.
Right.
And that's what we need. We need the good police officers to take the position to change this around, because even I'm 60 years old, if a cop pulled me over, I'm nervous. Because I want to know how is he going to respond. And it doesn't I don't get nervous just because it's a white cop. I get nervous when it's a black cop as well.
Exactly.
And see, that's the thing, Rodney. Like, that's why I have the issue that I have with a lot of Europeans fighting against the Black Lives Matter thing, because what you just said, they don't have to worry about stuff like that. They don't have to worry about their kids going out here and going to get some Skittles and not making it back home. They don't have to worry about their kids out here selling cigarettes and not being able to. They don't have to worry about. They don't even know. They don't even understand the stuff that we deal with every day, just sending our kids just to school.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times I'm like, for as much as I miss Julian and wish that he was here, you know, I'm glad that he's not, because for the simple reason, all of the stuff that's going on now, I don't ever have to get that phone call again, right? I mean, it's like I get devastated every time I hear this stuff come on TV about them killing another black man, killing another black woman. It's devastating, because I know the pain of that parent or that child to the person that's getting killed. I know that pain. So I hate seeing it. You know, not only did I lose my son through gun violence. I also lost my nephew 4 years later through gun violence. So my family has dealt with it on an all-time high.
And then just having, my grandson, I have to like keep talking to him, and even his dad, you need to let somebody know where you are. It's not that we trying to keep tabs on you, but somebody needs to know where you are at all times. So if something happened, we know why you was there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have to worry about, why was he there, and none of that stuff.
So to give you a point, that's a real good point. I want to talk about. We need to know where our children are or the grandchildren, because remember just recently with that block party thing, right?
Yeah.
And they came in. Now, me personally, if I got 6 grandchildren. When they get older and they with me and they talk about going to a block party or something like that, I'm gonna tell them right off the break, you're not going.
Yeah.
Because weapons on the street are easy to come by.
Yeah.
They're easy to be in our neighborhood. They're not going to worry about it in the black neighborhoods, and we already know that. And we're not saying some things that are not true. We're saying things that we deal with every day.
Right.
The one thing that we do know is that our lives are looked upon like we're just ants, like we're roaches, like we like the dog you can throw out and just leave them out there and don't say anything about it. We know this happens in this country over and over and over and over. I've seen it. I've experienced it. The one thing that we have to do is remember, Black Lives Matter. I just noticed that it's starting to die down. People are not talking about it on the news. They're starting to go back to talking about the negative things that happen in our community, like our community is the only one that have crime in it.
Exactly.
And that's not true.
Exactly.
And half of the stuff that we see is motivated by the media. So they want us to be looked upon like animals. Lynn Nelson. How you doing, Lynn? Welcome, baby. Much love and respect. Yes, that's correct. Chief and Pac-Man. So, and people know who these people are. People know who they are. They know some of the things in their reputations. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I had an experience where they did look out for me. I got to tell you what happened. I had an altercation with a guy. I don't want to say too much because I'm a government employee. So anyway, it was a weapon involved, and they I had my business, right? So a lot of the people who were locked up, when they saw them to bring me down there, they said, "This guy here is a good dude, man. He don't get in trouble like that." And so a couple of the guards in there left the door open for me because I'm claustrophobic, right? And I had to stay all night. When the shift changed and all the white guards came in, they slammed the door and put me in the smallest cage, the smallest cell, because they knew that they told them that I was claustrophobic and that I was just defending one of my neighbors. Actually, it was Beverly Lucas, right? I was defending her from somebody trying to assault her, and I handled my business. And I just didn't understand them treating me like that.
But it's not, it's really not a secret, right? It's just the world that we living in, and the bottom line to it is, we in the same place that we was in the 60s.
Yeah.
We really have not overcame anything.
Right.
We still fighting for the same justice that we was fighting for back during those times.
They just do it a little different.
They just do
It's
it
a little different. They not lynching us and all that now. They
still
shooting us.
doing that
Come on.
shit because they don't know who lynched them boys over there a few months ago when they found them 2 youngest lynched in the woods on the tree. They don't know who did that.
Right.
Well, but
like you said, we're still in that situation right now where, things really haven't changed that much. Lynn says, where was the
negotiator,
I think she means negotiators,
the negotiators.
or was there one?
No.
It was none. Yeah, Gwen, there were no negotiators there. No one to try to defuse that situation with Vickie's son. And the bad part is that Vickie was there.
Yeah.
So if a mother was there, they should have allowed you to say, hey, talk to your son. Give you a mic or something.
Exactly.
And say, yo, talk to your son because we want to bring your son home.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We don't want to kill your son. What we want to do is to help you be able to have your life with your son.
Because when I got there, the officer came over to me, and he was like, "What is his name?" I told him his name, what relation is, and I told him, I said, "I'm his mom," and it was like they were going to try to allow me to say something until the other cop way over on the other side of the parking lot fired a weapon because she thought that he fired a weapon.
Well, this is the other thing. Now, let me tell you what I know for a fact. First of all, I'm ex-Marine. We are trained. We know how to shoot a gun.
Absolutely.
Okay? So, it wasn't no by accident that he did. Because if he intended on taking somebody out, I'm telling you what I know for a fact.
Absolutely.
He was trained to do that.
Yeah.
Okay? Maybe that might have been one of the things they might have knew that he was ex-Marine. I don't know. But I'm just telling you, under the circumstances, don't say he almost or he thought, because I'm telling you, when I found out he was a Marine, I know how they trained us. I know how they continue to do so. And I'm going to tell you, it is no joke.
Absolutely.
So that's a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. My guest today is Ms. Vickie Sellers and also Ms. Gwen Pratt Miller. And I'm just so happy to have my guest here. We have quite a few comments that were placed, so we want to take this opportunity. Kathy Cobb said, "I am so sorry for both parents. Beautiful, strong women." That's Brenda. Brenda is out of South Carolina. We love you, Brenda. Let me see. Yes, Vickie, you're right. Terrible how they treat our black men. This is something.
It's not just men, it's women too.
Oh, I don't know if y'all had saw a while back. There was some kids coming from a pool party, and the cop grabbed the one little young girl and body slammed her. It was all over Facebook and some stuff.
Well, none of it is surprising to me. I mean, anything that they do is not surprising. Anything that they do when it comes to us, it does not surprise me. And, like I said, as long as we keep letting them
Get away with it.
Exactly. It's going to continue, and then we're going to march, then it's going to die down. Then they gonna kill again, then we gonna march again, and then, I mean, for me, as far as my healing was concerned, my church helped me a lot. I mean, they did a lot helped me a lot when it came to my healing process, because when I went there, I was not in a good place. I was a very angry, broken, I had just lost both of my parents and my child in less than 2 years. So, I was in a bad place. So going to church did help me a lot. It helped me to get to a better place. It helped me to not be as angry, but I still have days like yesterday, like I was telling you, I was in a bad place yesterday, and I felt all of that anger. I cried a lot yesterday, and that's something like in the beginning with my son, I didn't do a lot of crying because I didn't have time to. I was planning stuff, I was doing stuff, and I was busy. I went through a divorce right after that, so I lost both parents, my child, my husband, everything in less than 2 years. So it was just a tough time for me, and like Vickie said, I'm just thankful to God that I didn't go back to using, I didn't go back to drinking, I didn't go back to smoking cigarettes, I didn't do any of those negative things. But, I in the process of all of this, I do deal with anxiety from time to time. I deal with depression from time to time. So it's a life-altering situation. It's something that you learn to deal with it. Like she said, it's been 7 years, but to me, it seems like it was 2 years ago, a year ago.
Yeah,
You know,
to me, it seems like sometimes it's just like yesterday.
Exactly.
It depends on the day.
exactly.
You know, that it seemed like it like just happened yesterday. Because
Exactly.
I ride past where my son was killed like almost like every single day. My daughter still lives in the house right there where I have to walk up them same steps. And I used to have to see them. They just not long ago fixed the bullet holes that was in the concrete.
What?
All these years. All these
And
years.
every time you go, you got to relive this and go. Let me ask you this: that either one of you received counseling from the city, knowing that you went through this tragic situation.
Let me
I
tell you
did.
something. I went to the city to see their psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They asked me for an insurance card. They asked me how was I gonna pay for it and all of that. And I'm telling them, like, look, your police killed my son. I don't have no insurance, and I did. I'm like, I don't have no insurance and I don't have no money. So I sat there with the young lady, and I was like so angry. I was so angry. I was so broken. And like I said, I was like mentally disturbed. And I said to her that I'm going to sit over in that ballpark and I'm going to shoot every freaking police that come out of that police station. And that's just where I was mentally. Because at that point, I really didn't even care. I never went back in there because I felt like she told the police or somebody what I said, and that they were going to be there to lock me up for threatening to kill the police. Because that whole thing would have went different. I'd have been locked up for the rest of my life.
Right.
You know. So I didn't go back there. So what I did, I just went out and I got my own psychiatrist. And right to this day, I still go see a psychiatrist because I have to.
Right.
Because I don't ever want to go back where I was
Right.
in that dark place. You know, I never want to go back there. But yeah, they asked me for insurance. It was terrible.
I'm in therapy also. You know?
Well, I just got released January. I think it was January 3rd or 6th this year. My psychiatrist. I had to go and deal with quite a few things on a different level. Rochelle. It says, this is a necessary conversation. Thanks, lady, for sharing your stories.
You're welcome.
Lynn say they care about dogs more than they do humans.
Absolutely.
I tell you, is the terminology Black Lives Matter is not even at a level to be labeled for what y'all had to deal with.
I don't use that term. Black lives are important. I don't use Black Lives Matter.
Come on, I like that.
I don't.
You know what? Black lives are important.
They are.
And it's not, Black lives are not only important when it comes to the police killing our kids.
Yeah.
Something needs to happen with them out there killing each other.
Yeah.
Because if you're marching because the police are killing our kids, you need to freaking march because these guys are out here killing our kids too.
Yeah.
And killing each other. The Black Lives Matter, Black Lives important, it don't only go toward the police officer. It goes towards everybody.
Yes, but
And I don't understand people get their drawers and bunched up in their butts when the police kill one of our kids or kill me or anybody, but they killing each other
Right in the neighborhood.
in the neighborhood with the marches, with the signs. Come on.
Like when my nephew got killed, a week before he got killed, the guy that killed him, they were all in my shop together. They were all sitting together, talking, laughing, and all of that stuff. You know, so when celebrate my son's birthday is what we were doing. We all left, went home. It was Mother's Day weekend because my son was born on Mother's Day, May the 12th. And I went home, went to work that Saturday morning, Mother's Day weekend. I get a phone call from my sister telling me that my nephew had been shot, and and then when I find she telling me that they said he probably will make it, but he may never walk again. So of course I had to leave work and go see about him, and he didn't make it. And then come to find out, the person that killed him was somebody that my family knew. Somebody that grew up with us. Somebody, I grew up with his mom. His mom used to work at the rec and carried my son. So it's devastating. It's devastating to have to deal with it on any level. My brother, I'll never forget him asking me, saying to me, Gwen, I got 4 sons. And he said, Gwen, I just don't understand how you so strong. He said, if I lose one of them, it will probably kill me. And then 4 years later, he lose his son. So it's, like I said, my family has dealt with gun violence on a large level. And it was devastating on both ends.
Paulette Davis said, I asked my kids that are 26, 32, 33 years of age, where are they? Let me see. Kathy, she said, I still ask mine too. We need to know. Let's stop for a moment. Let's stop for a moment. We have to change our dialogue within our homes. We have to change the dialogue in the churches, in the schools, among us. Because like you said, it's not just the police. It's inside. What I want y'all to know, I hope I don't get in trouble, but my wife had a moment this morning when we were talking about y'all, that her brother was killed. Shot, how many times was your brother? 17 times.
Wow.
And she went to when she found out, when she got there, she said tears were still coming out of his eyes. And she wiped the tears from her brother's eyes. And I when I saw that it really affected her emotionally this morning, I just had to hold her. And it was funny because you don't understand that this is changing our everyday life.
Mm-hmm. You never the same. My life has been totally different since my son has been gone. With me being, I guess, having addictive behavior, I posted about it yesterday. I talked about all the stuff that I've bought and stuff to try to fill that void,
Yeah.
but it's nothing that's really can fill it. I bought every car, every fur coat, every purse, every pair of boots. I've done it all, and it's nothing that has filled that void, and I don't think there's anything out there that will.
Hey, can I make y'all laugh a little bit?
Please.
Hey, these two honeys though, for real, they be fashion, they be doing that thing, man. Hey, y'all see Vicky over here like with her shades. I'm trying to tell you, these girls, y'all do it very well, and that's one of the things that I love about us, from Old Town Alexandria. We have our flavor, so but we, for all of us, we may have that can become a habit too.
But see, the thing about it, Rodney, and this is what I tell people, a lot of people, they judge what they see on the outside.
Come on, Gwen.
They
look
at you and they think, she thinks she this, she thinks. But if they only knew, if they turned it from the inside out, then they would understand that, a lot of times this outer is just a facade for what's going on the inside.
You know what Harold said while he sat right there? He said some of us are just a trash can walking around dressed
up, God.
Let me tell y'all something. I walked around, so a lot of those smiley faces that y'all see on when y'all say I'm always laughing. So many of them pictures is just a smile on the outside covering up the cry on the inside.
Absolutely.
A lot of times, man, I have to laugh and smile to not cry.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, even before my son got killed, and even before Julian was killed, we always was dressing and buying. I was smoking crack dressing, and you know what I'm saying? So, but what happens is, after the passing of our sons, the addiction just became so overwhelming.
Come on. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like you trying to put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
A Band-Aid over top of a Band-Aid.
Over top of a Band-Aid, and like we say, that void, that hole, it'll not even. I had Tanny, Tav, and Tarika, and everybody knows that. And I'll never take nothing away from my mother and father. My mother and father raised my kids because I was out in the street, and they wasn't having that. My kids weren't gonna be out there with me. So my mother and father raised my kids, but we were all raised together. So even though I have Tanny and Tarika, still not having Tav, it's like I still lost something.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it don't matter how many kids you have. Like Julian was Gwen's only son.
Yes.
You feel me? But Tav was my only son, even though I have 2 girls.
Yeah.
And when I tell you Malachi, I had Malachi since he was 3 months old. I ain't even raised my own kids. But I got Malachi through my ex-husband. That's his nephew. I wanted to get Malachi back to the state because I was like, come on, Daddy, I ain't even raised my own kids. So I'm going to raise this little boy. And my father said, Vickie, you got to pay it forward. We did it for you. You got to do it for them.
Come on.
For him. You feel me? So I just always feel now that, man, God saw this stuff get ready to come before it came. That's why he put Malachi in my life to save me.
Yes.
Because Malachi saved me.
Yes.
It wasn't my siblings, because like I said, when my son got killed, we were very separated when my son got killed because of a whole lot of other things that was going on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So me committing suicide wouldn't have meant shit as far as them missing me and she should, none of that. It was Malachi that kept me here because if I couldn't take care of him, who was going to take care of him and where was he going to go?
So let me say this, ladies. Sometimes, this is not easy for me. The respect I got for y'all right now it is overwhelming. It's like balloons coming out, going up in the sky. For y'all to be able to sit here and share your story, to be able to sit here and talk about the trials and tribulations of your life in the past, which you had to deal with, but yet be strong enough to sit here and share it and care about other people.
Right.
That says a lot. People, let me tell you something. This is what we're talking about when we come together. We come together because we're trying to make a difference. They didn't have to come and tell their story. They have something they got to deal with. This is not, you know what I'm saying? This is not, y'all, they're not getting paid. Y'all, they're not going to get no good grade. They're not getting a new car. The tires ain't going to get fixed on your car because you came here. What they're doing is they're sharing their story because they care. They care about what's going on. So, I see my director over there. She's shaking her head. That means that we done let a lot of stuff go. Okay, come on. Vanessa, my heart goes out to both ladies. I can't imagine what your lives have been like, okay? My deepest sympathies to both of the mothers. I've known Gwen since a child and me as a Marine. Agree with everything you've said about the attributes of a Marine, of which Sergeant Sellers was. Simplified. Simplified. I said simplified to you that wrote that statement. Okay. Let's see. When you lose a loved one, your life changed totally.
Well, let me say this on that. Like, when I lost my mother wasn't sick. Me and my mother was talking like we talking right now. 45 minutes later, my mother was gone. A year later, my mother raised us by herself. She was a single mother. I was devastated when my mother passed away. A year later, my father passed away. 5 days after burying my father is when my son got killed. And losing my parents was very, very hard, especially my mother because she's the one that raised her. But it ain't no. It's a whole different level of loss when you lose your child. It's totally different. It's not the same. You know, and like people say, you know, it is devastating to lose a parent because that's who brought you in the world. But losing a child, it's a whole nother level of pain.
Yeah.
It's the greatest pain I ever felt in my life. I've never felt anything greater than that.
Michael said these two beautiful sisters are very strong and have something for all y'all young folks and parents to hear. Man, I tell you, Black Lives Matter to everyone, but U.S.
But
We-
us,
Oh, I'm sorry.
we are killing each other.
We are killing each other.
You know, we are killing each
I
other.
said the U.S.
We are killing.
I'm so mad at the U.S. Hey, look. Hey, I'm so. I ain't get us out of it. I got the United States out of it. Oh my God.
Oh my God, that is so funny. That
So
was
pretty.
We are killing each other, Rodney, but you know the topic tonight really wasn't about us killing each other. It was
About
about
the
these,
damn
about
police.
them police.
Yeah.
That's
Police
what
killing
we
us.
was talking about tonight.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's the thing that always comes up when we talk about the police killing our kids and stuff. Of course, we are killing each other, but they're killing our kids as well.
Well, and that's what's really important for us to pay attention to. Now, like you
We
said,
don't want to be distracted with what's going on within us. That's why we need to keep things within the Black community.
and keep it on the
And
forefront.
we need to keep it within us because we have issues with us that we need to deal with that nobody else or no other race can come in and help us deal with. We have to deal with.
That's why we have Real Talk Live with myself, Rodney Grimes, and the people. Those are the people there, the people here, the people, them, us, the mothers. Power to power, the power they possess, the power we possess, the power we possess when we come together. And I say positive thinking people is when we start to make a difference in the way we do things and start changing our lives to make sure that we start correcting things in our neighborhood.
But we gotta start with us.
Right.
We can't bring everybody else in right now. We need to start with us.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line to it, until we change within our own community, we can't reach out to nobody else.
Yeah. Well, that's why they sit back and what they do is they watch us and they look and they say, well, you know what, just don't do nothing.
Exactly.
They say let them kill themselves.
Exactly.
Let them pull each other down. How many of us out are really going to make sure that the black lives or the black businesses survive? When we talk about the pandemics and what was going on, everybody's looking and you're falling back and you're getting scared. But
Let
let
me
me
tell you something, Rodney. I've been in this business for 37 years. I've been doing, this month made 37 years that I've been in the hair business. I've never had another job since I was 18 years old. I never seen it like it is now. But I guess, and it's probably my faith, I'm not worried about it. You know, I have people that I haven't seen since March. I have people that call me and they question me about, you know, what procedure am I taking? What am I doing? You know, I'm taking the necessary precautions that need to be taken, Rodney. But the bottom line to it is, I can't control coronavirus.
Right.
I can't control that, you
Right.
know, and like you said, I don't know how the black businesses are going to survive. I don't know how.
This is where I'm at, and I'm gonna get to that. See, one of the things is this: if we pay attention to the media and what's out there,
Oh my
they'll
God.
shut us down to
Yes.
where we'll be crawling and begging and robbing and stealing even more within
That's right.
ourselves.
That's right.
This is why this platform even here, I use this, I have to market it. I use this platform and I need you. I need you out there. I need your support. I need that. We need it. We need to have our voice to get out. It's important that I'm able to allow you to be able to share your story.
And see, the thing about it, Rodney, if we don't support each other, we not gonna get supported. Because the bottom line is, they not coming into our businesses and supporting our
us.
business.
How many people? Let me ask you this: how many? I'm talking about city officials, or have you got a letter sent to your business to ask you how you doing?
No.
Have anybody come down there and say, look, we got a program to make sure that you can get enough money to pay your rent and your car and still eat, knowing that you have a business in the city of Alexandria? Have anybody ever come in there and say, Miss Miller, let me ask you a question. What is it that you need to keep you afloat?
No. I mean, the bottom line to it is, I feel like if I've touched a lot of people's heads in 37 years, and by me being well known in the city and people knowing me, that's the reason why I'm still able to maintain. But I'm nowhere near where I used to be as far as the business is.
Your reputation as a hairstylist is very good, because my wife many times she was, my wife grew up in South Carolina, so my wife didn't know anybody.
Right.
And every now and then I'd be like, look, baby, I got some people I need you to see. And then one day she was like, oh, well, if you want my hair to be like this, that, then you need to make sure to get done. I said, well, then I know what to do. I'm calling Gwen.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And I appreciate it.
Right.
And I really appreciate it.
And my wife was like, well, who is Gwen? I said, you said that it's my responsibility. I'm getting ready to handle my business.
Right.
So, with that said, it's all about us showing respect. I just tell you, both ladies, you are very, very, you should be very, very proud of yourselves. Honestly. Vickie, let me tell you, sweetheart, I know you. I'm older than you. But you should be so proud of yourself right now. Because you are an example for another young female. What I'm hoping is down the line is that this program is going to be so sharp that I'm going to be able to do another form, that I'm going to be able to have a lot of y'all up there who's lived it. Did the drugs, did the drinking, staying up all night, or whatever the case may be.
That's a part of our lives that, because me and Vickie talk about it on a regular basis.
Right.
We talk about it, and one thing about it, we don't forget, and we keep it in front of us.
Absolutely.
She's celebrating 27 years.
27 years?
I have 27. I'm coming up on 28.
Congratulations.
And I'm getting ready to celebrate 26 next month. So, we could have did a lot of other things as far as, after stuff happening with our kids. We could have did a lot of other negative things. So I think shopping is one of the things that I'm going to stick to.
Absolutely. And then, I manage, and I always think about, I ended up getting my bachelor's afterwards. I'm in a master's program in George Mason, and I just have to keep on going and keep on going, even though it's hard.
Yeah.
It's a headache. I keep saying I don't think I'm gonna make it. I don't think I can
You are
do
gonna
it.
make it.
But I keep on going and I keep on going. I keep on going. But you was asking Gwen about had the city reached out to her. When my son got killed, Mayor Ewell didn't come to my house. I had a fundraiser. He didn't come to my house. He didn't come to my mother's house, and he didn't even try to find my daughter's house in Maryland where they were. And somebody asked me, you gonna vote for Mayor Ewell? Why? Why should I vote for Mayor Ewell?
Because he's black.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Come on, right? Because he's black. We have to get past because they're black or because of this. We got to make sure. Let me tell you, somebody said, and then we got to go to the board. Somebody said, don't vote for a candidate because of their color.
Right.
Vote for the candidate that's mostly qualified for the position. That is what we should pay attention
But
to.
see, as black people, we should have an agenda of what we want to have, what we need, what we want to have done. We can't just go out here and vote just to be voting.
Right. But you're right. We have to have an agenda.
Exactly.
We have to have a purpose. Tracy, hello Tracy. Tracy Clark is my co-host, and also I haven't seen Rachel. Rachel, I had to throw her out there. Rachel Pope is also another one of my co-hosts, and she's my godmother of the program. And I send peace and blessings to you both. Tracy says, okay, I'm so thankful for both of you, powerful, strong black women. This could have been easily gone in another direction, but you chose life. God has given you both a platform to help women that will or have already gone through what you have, but was not as strong as the both of you. I praise God for you, and I know this is just the beginning of the place where you will start your new journey in your life. God bless you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Tracy, I love you, babe. Tracy always giving me support, girl. I try to tell you, I just love you, and that's what we're talking about: support and acknowledging. Hold on, just because I don't want to do that. I know I'm getting ready to get in trouble. I gotta go back and say something. You know what? I want to tell you. We was talking about you getting. You said your bachelor's.
I have my bachelor's. I'm in the master's program now at George Mason.
Come on now. That's another thing. 54 years old.
55.
55. You handling your business.
I'm trying.
Oh, you
Trying
doing it,
hard.
baby. Hey, I'm just gonna up on that,
And I'm sitting over here trying to figure out, damn, I've been doing hair all these years. What am I gonna do other than hair?
Come on.
You know, and it's very
It's scary.
challenging right now.
Yeah.
It
But
really
this,
is.
but
And
this,
see, me and Gwen came up. Me and Gwen have a history.
Exactly.
We have a long history, and I'm talking about from the new projects to Delray Avenue, was it,
Yeah.
and you know all of that through our using and everything. And I have a cosmetology license. Me and Gwen work together in her mother's shop and her shop.
that's right. Your mother used to do hair.
Yeah,
That's
you
how
know,
it
and
started.
all of that. But I always felt that I needed to have a paycheck paying job because I just wasn't always into it as much as Gwen. You know, so, and I just was like this jack of all trades. I just wanted to do a whole lot of different things. But you're gonna be alright though.
I know.
Well, and you know what?
You're gonna be alright because God ain't brought you this
Come on,
far.
that's right.
You know,
Let me
to
see.
let you go
It
there.
said back in the day, the neighborhood resolved the issues in the community within. They didn't call the police. They learned how to talk it out amongst families. That's true. Brenda said, "Amen."
But see, we living in the age now where, like, all this killing each other stuff. These are the from our generation, those crack babies. That's what that killing is all about.
Come
That's it's those our kids.
Right.
You know, they wasn't raised like we was
were.
raised.
We were raised with that respect when we
Exactly.
knew how far to go.
Exactly.
Like what you said, your father told you when it came to the little boy that he said, "No, you got to." And you did it.
Mhm.
But the generations of our kids and stuff like that, they looking at us like we owe them the world. They don't have no respect, and they're walking
Well,
around
what
like.
happened? We gave our kids the stuff that our parents
Couldn't
couldn't
give
give
us.
to us.
Yeah.
You know, and the difference was, you know, like my mother, I watched my mother work 2 and 3 jobs to take care of us, you know, 3 of us, and we never wanted for nothing though, right?
Mhm.
Everything that we needed, we
We
had.
had. Come
you
on.
know, and for us to go out here and get to go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger, a small fry, and a small soda, that was like that was big time to us back in the day. But you take these kids now to McDonald's, they want the big meal. They
Right. Yeah. But back then too, you used to go to McDonald's with $5 and feed the family.
That's
Oh,
right.
Now you go in there, it ain't happening.
That's
Margie said, "I still stand and believe on the power of prayer. It's only through God's grace that I am staying above ground." You true. That's true. Even with me, keep God first in your life. and you're gonna always come out a winner. Vanessa
Well,
said,
Margie McNeil, she's well, her son wasn't murdered, but she lost a child.
yeah,
Same
You know,
year.
yeah. Well, that's what, because I got quite a few people that I know that I had already responded, or I saw them looking at the flowers, and they lost children, so they know what it's like, so they know that pain of a mother.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Vanessa says, it saddens me when I hear the police killing us. My son is a lieutenant with the City of Alexandria Police Department. He said, Mom, that's not how we are trained. It's a sad solution.
Situation.
Oh, situation. My heart hurts for you both.
You know, even in spite of us, in spite of what we've gone through, you know, I don't want people to think that we're always sad, because sometimes me and her get on the phone. Like, matter of fact, last night we was on the phone. And we laughed right for I know every bit of 2 hours straight.
All the
So
time,
I don't want people to think, you know, like when I post, because I always post about my son. When I post something, I'm not always sad. I just might be thinking about him or something like that. You know, like she said, that was all I had. Julian was spoiled. Anybody that knew me and knew him, he was spoiled. And I raised him that way until he got 18 years old. But sometimes I might think about him and get sad. But other times I think about him and I bust out laughing because of some of the stuff that he used to do. So I'm not always sad when I post about him.
Yeah. Trust me, my good days definitely outweigh my bad days.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
absolutely.
Okay, what's that? Niecy Jackson, she said, that's right, ladies, keep on going and keep God first in whatever you do. You guys, faith. Michael said, Gwen has helped with several community programs after her son was killed, which tells you about her heart and commitment, even doing hair for free for some of our back to school events. Anthony Sutter said, hey fam, we got to start supporting one another for the better cause. That's 100. If you ladies can have one thing to do, self. I don't understand that. If you ladies
can have one thing to do,
self.
so.
I'm not. Gwen, Vickie
Oh, she's
is
weak.
AKA.
Go ahead,
Mike. All right, Mike. Don't be messing with
Hold
it.
on, he been calling me Whoopi Goldberg since the early 80s, because I used to wear my flag. Go ahead, Mike.
If you ladies could have one thing for self-care for yourselves, what would one small thing be to make you happy?
Shopping.
Kathy,
that's the bottom line.
Shopping.
That's the
Shopping,
bottom
Kathy.
line.
It makes
If you
me
want to make
feel
me
good.
happy, do not, and I repeat, don't send me no flowers, don't send me no candy, none of that. Send me a gift card.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Gwen say, look,
Hey,
the
look,
candy
I'm
and the
not-
flowers.
Right, I'm not watering no flowers. I don't really like candy. So send me a gift card.
And see, I done messed around and became a real green thumb, because I got about 10 plants now in my house, and they nice and green, but yeah, but it soothes me when I go shop. And since everything had closed down because of the pandemic, me and one of my coworkers, we used to call each other all the time, because we had like packages and packages and packages coming from Amazon. I ain't even gonna talk about how many bags and stuff Gwen got, but I have so many purses that I don't need to buy another one, and I did. I just love to buy stuff, and we can't even go with it. I put shit on go to Giant.
Just do something. Hold on. We got a caller. Is that Lynn? Hello, Lynn. How you doing, sweetheart?
Hello,
How you doing, baby?
I'm doing good. I just want to say I am so happy and proud of those two beautiful queens right there. And I must make a correction. Michael J. just said that Gwen Pratt has been doing things in the community after she lost her son. I have to correct that, bruh. She's been doing things since day one. You're looking at the person.
Don't mess with nobody, Lynn though. Lynn gonna straighten it out.
Yeah.
Let me get it out. And Gwen, you know you are the reason that we had the One Love Festival. And Lenny Hines, and he knows the real deal. All I want to say, thank you for doing all that you do in the community, and I love you, and you keep standing. Vickie, you know how I feel about you, baby. I love y'all, and if I can do anything to help out, because honey, ain't nothing wrong with my hands. I can write a letter real fast. City Hall knows me, and I'm still standing. Let's get it done. Let's go.
That's right, baby. That's right.
Thank you, Lynn.
We love you, Lynn.
Welcome, baby.
All right.
Tracy said, Gwen, Vickie, all needs to listen to yourself. You are both motivational speakers that is going to make a difference.
Thank
You know, that's why they are here. That's why they doing what they do.
What is Rosa Bird saying down there?
Yeah, we pull that up. Let's see. Rosa Bird.
You passed it.
It says, continue to share your stories and support each other. Praying. That's right.
Thank you.
That's why, again, it is important that we have this platform. And y'all gotta understand. I have to put this out. Just even like if you know what you're doing here, you're going to school and getting your bachelor's and your master's. What I do is I love helping people. I've always been. I do production. I'm a hell of a producer. I do showcasing. I was doing that for a while, and I'm not gonna make this about me because my wife she'll tell me later on. I told you that when you got the guests on there, don't start talking about what you do. but what I'm trying to say is that we need to keep Real Talk Alive available. So please hit share, because when I have these platforms and I can bring individuals out, you don't know how many people that you help, and you just may save that one person. They heard something from you that made them not want to commit suicide. That made them feel like that they could beat all the trials that they're having to deal with that are very negative in their lives. Y'all two ladies have been a blessing for us today. You have inspired me. I'm not saying this. I'm going to be honest with you. I am a very, very direct person. I don't really like to play games because I know that what goes out and what you give out, you'll get back. But y'all have inspired me even to move forward and keep moving in a direction where we are going to survive. We're going to make changes together. I'm telling you right now, whenever y'all are ready to come back on, you're more than welcome. Call me. And and if you got another something that we need to pay attention to, or something we need to talk about, you got my number. Call me, okay? Because I'm looking for that to just help elevate this program.
Right.
Okay, it's not easy to do this.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's. I'm glad that we were both able, because you asked me, and you asked me a long time ago, Rodney. And when I finally decided or felt like I was ready, which is now, the first person that came to my mind was Vickie. So I was like, let me call her up and see if I can get her to come on with me, because I know our stories are very similar, and in not just with our sons getting killed, but our lives are a lot similar, and the things that we've been through and the things that we've gone through coming up and all of that kind of stuff is very similar. And it's a lot of people out there that's in the positions that we used to be in that we would like to help as well.
Can we also, real quick, I know we got some more, can you also, what's your business? What's your business name and how they can come and support you?
Well, I'm Hands in Motion 2, and I'm located at 426 Hume Avenue, Alexandria, Virginia, 22301. And you can get in touch with me, call the shop, hit me up on Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, it doesn't matter. I'm there now only Wednesday through Saturday. So, I mean, if anybody needs a hairdo, hit me up.
And I can confirm that this lady is an amazing hairdresser, hairstylist, because, you know, I had to get up many nights and I don't want to get in no trouble and bring my wife over there and get her hair done. And God is good, and what I really, really like is that, you know, we are using this platform to really get us to a point where we're making a change in our community. And so, let me see. Tracy said, God already knew that this was going to happen. Y'all covered by the blood of Jesus. Wendy said, exactly, keep the memories. Okay, babe, I'm just going to turn this just a little bit if you don't mind. Okay, all right. It says, hello, my friends. Both young men were very respectful, so that means their mothers planted some good seeds.
Thank you, Mike.
That's true. That's true. Okay, Kathy. Okay, from bond for better. From bound for better. We'll send you a gift card. I have your information, Vickie. I need Gwen's info too.
Thank you, Kathy. Wait a minute. Yeah. What about Rodney?
Rodney, you didn't say you was the shopaholic. We did.
Girl, I shop too. Come on. That ain't no just no woman thing. Okay. Let's see. That's it. Yeah. Okay. All right. But God is good. You know, we really winding down. I'm just so happy that we had this opportunity to talk to both of you. I thank you so much. We didn't get a chance to do the birthday shout
Shout-outs or anything.
Do it real quick. Yeah, I mean.
Okay, the birthdays are Charles, Chucky. What is that? Dog Womack?
God,
That's
I can work whatever.
Happy birthday wish to Nancy Johnson and Cleve Johnson. Also, Mom Natalie J. Tashi Robinson is 50. Monique Jones. Mama Daisy, 100 years old. Wow. Gladys Daniels. Happy anniversary to Samuel L. Jackson and Latanya Jackson, 40 years. That's our celebrity birthday wish. And congratulations to London. She's off to college. Congratulations, London. And also, my classmate, Brenda Minnick, lost her sister-in-law, which is also a family member to us, which her name is Brenda Heron in South Carolina.
We send our condolences out to the family. Peace and blessings. And we if there's anything we can do, please give us a call. And we cannot call out all the names that for everybody that tuned in, but know that we appreciate you. The support is needed. I have no qualms about sitting down telling that I need your support in order for us to move forward. Please continue to share. Gwen Pratt, so proud of both of these women. My sister, love her always. And Vickie, you know we go back to, was Tony Orlando? And
Go ahead, Me and Nene, we were in elementary school at Charles Barry, and we did Tony Orlando and Dawn in our concert.
It's just, you know, the other thing is just so good to see y'all be able to still laugh. Mm-hmm. Know that God is preparing you. He all of us.
Oh, yeah.
We're and let me say this, we're different than our parents. Mm-hmm. Our parents wasn't doing this like this.
Right.
Okay? We got caught up in the whirlpool. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not bragging. I've dipped and dabbed in different things, but my grandmother had a hold on me and put a real strong spirit in me that I never found myself, I won't get addicted to things.
Well, see, for me, Rodney, I grew up fatherless. So it was like I was addicted to a lot of stuff, a whole bunch, and you know that was another void that, you know, that's another whole show though.
Yeah.
But
Well, I shouldn't have said that, because I do have my areas of things that I like to do.
I don't even like calling it addictions, like the shopping stuff. I like to do it.
Right. It's just right. That's just
I mean,
so right.
and it's not even always, and for me, it's not even always for myself. I might say, you know what? I seen Rodney with this black and white shirt on. I know he like that style. I'm gonna get that for Rodney. That's just part of me shopping.
Y'all
You know,
heard?
like-
Wait a minute, stop. Hold it. Y'all heard her say that. Extra large, babe. Extra large. I'm letting y'all know, yo, I'm not too shady.
But that's how I am though. I mean, I will cash app somebody and they won't even be expecting the cash app. You know, and it's about just blessing somebody. You know what I'm saying?
thank you.
Just
Right.
because. It's churches that I don't even attend. Never been in the church, not one time. But I'll see them on like a live, and they'll have their cash app, and I'll send the money just to the cash app.
Oh yeah.
You
Let
know,
me shout my
because, you
church
know.
out real quick though. Kingdom Fellowship, Dr. Shakina Dunbar Rollins is my church. But
I know that's right.
if it wasn't for them, and you know my faith in God, I probably wouldn't be right here today, Rodney.
Well, let me say, Anthony Suggs says, two good, respectful youngins that was my guys, that life was cut way too short.
Thank you.
With that said, this is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. We are getting ready to shut it down, and I'm going to ask Vickie, take a couple of minutes to just give somebody a final word, and then I need you to do the same. So you go first.
Well, my final word is that no matter what happens in life, because life will throw you all kind of sticks and stones, just keep the faith, stay prayed up, and if you anything like me in the fellowship, stop using. I don't care if you have 24 hours, no matter what happens in your life, you don't have to use ever again, no matter what.
Come on, baby.
You don't have to use. And if you're using, stop, because it's out there, it's killing people.
Yes.
Y'all have a blessed night.
And I mean, she said it all. You know, I feel the same way. I mean, if your life is unmanageable because of drugs or whatever else, you need to stop. You need to move on. You need to give yourself over to God or whoever the better understanding to yourself, and get off it and do what you have to do to become a better person. Because if we didn't go back to using after what we went through, nobody else should be doing it either.
That's right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, with that said, it's peace and blessings to you all. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. Thank you. Y'all be safe. Hey, ladies, man, that was powerful.